This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Athletics.
Leaping at the wall, it's gone! A towering drive into center field by Rooker.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
A Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right, away back into the second deck.
Bobby Witt Jr. becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have two 30-30 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to walk-off dingers to Hall of Fame talk. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
We are back after a day off. A's Cast Live. Where am I, Cody? Where am I? No. My headset. Up. There we go. How you doing, Shooty Babitt?
Fantastic, Towny. It's so good to be here today, man.
Yep, A's Cast Live. We are back after a day off, back from Sacramento. We are back in the studios in San Francisco, of course, on 650 KSTE in Sacramento, and other stations on the A's radio network, including the Bull in Las Vegas. And to all our A's Cast listeners and the people watching on YouTube and also watching on X, we got a great show for you today. Jesse Rogers from ESPN Chicago is going to join us. A lot to get into with him about the Athletics being in Chicago at Wright Field, taking on the Chicago White Sox. We will do our Hot Take Tuesday. I got a hot take on Juan Soto today about his first year with the Mets. And Ron Darling joined us. We taped it with Steve Sachs on, Saturday we taped that? We taped it on Saturday. So some people got to see it and listen to it on A's Cast on NBC, but you'll get to see the full, because Ron Darling, not only championship player, great player, former A. Obviously, his best years were with the Mets. Now, with Keith Hernandez, Gary Cohn, they really have some people feel the best play-by-play in baseball. And then what he does nationally on MLB Network, Ron Darling's great. He and Sachs played Double-A against each other. They've known each other for a long time, have done TV. So that will be the show. But we're going to lead off today with my partner here in San Francisco. We'll be doing A's Cast on NBC later today, that you'll be able to hear on the A's Radio Network and on A's Cast, but you'll be able to watch it on NBC Sports California. Back from being in the bushes, the super scout, the great Shooty Babitt, with us here on A's Cast Live. How are you?
Fantastic, Towny. I mean, outstanding. Beautiful day back in the Bay here. Getting a chance to see the A's play in Chicago after having a couple of tough days. It's amazing how every day is different at the ballpark. The A's are in a historical city, one of the greatest cities in the world. And once again, they're going to be playing baseball.
All right. So for a scout, we all have to kind of get into our groove for the season, right? Like all of a sudden you go from not working till all of a sudden, bang, you're back in it. You got to get into your rhythm, whether it's players, coaches, front office, people who work at the stadium, for us with this show and everything. Is there like a groove you got to get back into when you're now back out on the road as a scout?
Spring training does wonders for a scout, because you get back used to being in that hotel, getting to the ballpark, getting into a routine, knowing you got to take care of yourself in the morning to get ready to be out in that sun. And it's going to be a long day. You're going to be walking back and forth on those backfields. You're going to be doing everything you possibly can to gather information, get acclimated and familiar with some of the clubs that you may be covering throughout the year. And there's some names that are on lists that you've got to go down and find and make sure that the eyes that we've been putting on these guys are the same guys that we saw the last time that we seen them. So I think spring training does wonders, just like it does for players, just like it does for broadcasters. You need rhythm. You need to get cadence. You need to get familiar with your surroundings. And absolutely. But I truly feel it takes about a month. You come home for a homestand, you go on the road, you come back home for another homestand, you go on the road, and pretty much you've got things tightened up. You feel comfortable in your locker as far as a player. You've got that gamer broken in. You got a couple of pair of shoes that you know you're going to be using. But now it seems like guys, you know, they use a different pair every day. So things have changed in that regard because they make the equipment so good these days. But yeah, I would say so. No, that's no question.
Well, to give everybody an idea why the scouting is so important, like you already think about this series, like Luis Robert is a guy that has already been in trade talks like he was last year for the Chicago White Sox. He's in trade talks again. James Outman, the kid from the Bay Area who is outfielder for the Dodgers, there have been supposed talks, and it's really the stuff like a scout like yourself had been doing on the backfields. Like if a Dodger guy was scouting the White Sox down in Arizona or a White Sox guy was scouting the Dodgers, you're looking at the players. What do we want to have with these packages? So the things that you're doing in spring training, when you're doing those reports on players, the stuff that they'd be utilizing right now if you're talking about an early season trade.
Well, the great thing about it is most clubs, they kind of do things differently, even though that we have the same goal and we're trying to get to the same place. You know, some teams have models, some teams have ways of going about things. And I think that's a great part of it. A lot of times you may start scouting a different level in spring training because you may know that coming out, you know, the starting staff is a little light. There may be some AAA guys out there. And this year there was a new rule where guys had an out clause. They could sign a minor league contract, but they had an out early on in spring training where they would give a team an opportunity to pick them up and actually give them a chance to make a club. So there were so many different scenarios. I mean, this year I started out in AAA. I was in Memphis when typically I would go, you know, to the Midwest and see some of the younger kids play. But just knowing how the game is and the weather, you got to think of so many different things. So each year is different because you don't have much time to lose many games. There are only so many doubleheaders that you can play. So there's a lot that go into the planning. These big league clubs, you see depth is so important because it's so difficult to acquire major league players 2 weeks into the season because the better players has already gone north with you. And a lot of guys you had to make tough decisions on. And now you wish like maybe if we could have held on, but you don't look back that way. But those are the type of decisions that do come up.
Jackie Robinson Day, Major League Baseball. Everybody's going to be wearing 42. It's a day that we remember Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. It's actually, you know, I wish more of the country would celebrate it because it's, you know, we think about baseball, but you have to realize how influential baseball was at that time and how big Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier was more than just baseball, because I always like to bring it up, especially for our young listeners. The military at this point in our country's history had not integrated yet. So Branch Rickey and the Dodgers bringing Jackie Robinson in just didn't change baseball, just didn't change sports. Talk about the civil rights movement. It's what it did for the country, where then all of a sudden, if baseball could do it, then the military would do it. So it's more than, I always like to bring it up. It's so big for baseball, but it's more than just baseball.
It's gargantuous. I mean, you look at just something as simple as sitting here, you and I. We are about as different as mayonnaise and ketchup, but we have the same goals in life. We love the same thing. We love our families. We have passion for what we do, and we can get along doing what we do. Had it not been for Jackie Robinson, you and I would not even be sitting here today. And what bothers me more than anything else is people that don't take into account for the people that have come before them and that have allowed them to do the things that they are able to do. I was able to live my dream because of one person had enough pride, dignity, fortitude, and we don't even talk about the scholar and the man that he was. We're talking about baseball today, but the man was just a gentleman to the millionth degree. And for him to take the things that he took in order for us to do what we do, Towny, I'm so thankful for you today. I really am, because I didn't know how. I know you want to wear polos today and everything else, but this is one day today that I would be doing people, especially anybody that's seeing today like I see it and feel it the way I do, a disservice for not recognizing how important it is to be able to wear the number 42 today, just to be able to understand what magnitude. And I'm looking forward to being with you today because I've already been educated on a few things, especially something like today, and your knowledge of things. People know it goes well beyond just talking about A's baseball, and I'm grateful for you bringing this up and allowing us to do this today. And I want everybody to know, just take time to think about the people that have come before you and allow you to be who you are today.
You're wearing that on the show today, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. No,
we may have
great.
to arm wrestle for not to wear it today.
And I think of the one man that should get honored more, because I think especially for a lot of young baseball players, Larry Doby. He did this months after Jackie Robinson in the American League. He went through all the exact same things that Jackie Robinson went through. We need to honor him more. Obviously, he's also a baseball Hall of Famer. He had a great career, then went on to manage and everything. But Larry Doby is also somebody we really need to honor, just like Jackie Robinson, because he did the same thing in the American League.
If there's not a first, there's not a first. There's no Dusty Baker if there's no Frank Robinson. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And you're absolutely right, because I think because of Jackie Robinson, it resonates so much. People have not taken the time to realize what Larry Doby did in Cleveland and everything that he was able to do. So this also just brings light and more attention to maybe people will explore a little more and understand the magnitude of what today is. And it's a wonderful day, man. I'm just grateful and thankful to be able to be part of it on such a special day. And thank you, Major League Baseball, for recognizing and doing what they do. 42 is all around every stadium that you go in, and people see the number, and some people don't really understand what it means. Take time to find out.
Yeah, and just the significance of what he went through, the majority of us wouldn't have been able to do, and to wear all the hate. Like, we can't even imagine, like all the time. I was joking with you about how we did the thing about Julio Rodriguez, and someone picked that up, and actually, you know, people are coming after me on social media, which is all just fun and games. Like, to think about the true hate that he went through and the restraint that he went through, his own teammates. You think about Pee Wee Reese putting his arm around him to show everybody, hey, we're with this guy. To think about what the times were like, and to think how what you went through probably shortened his life, right? I mean, he went through so much. But the significance of how he changed society, it just wasn't baseball. He changed society.
My mom and dad migrated from Louisiana. They didn't have tar on the roads where you turned off to get to where they grew up. And they left there and brought us here so we'd have a better life and a better understanding. And they moved to Berkeley. So I'm from Berkeley. I mean, this is a place where you can come and be whatever you want to be. There was no prejudice, no racism. It was just one big old melting pot of people that just got along, smoked pot or whatever the hell you did, wore tie-dye shirts and stuff, man, and just chilled out. So now this generation, they gave us the affordability to live like that and be yourself. We have a responsibility as grown folk to pass it along to our kids and people that are ignorant to the fact that some of the things that are going on is not what real people do. Just be righteous, man. You know, treat people the way you want to be treated, and it's pretty easy. So you're right, Towny. Can you imagine some of the things? I mean, can't go here, can't do this, can't
imagine.
do that.
No, yeah.
Can't sit here and have dinner together. You gotta come on.
The hotels, you couldn't stay with the players. I mean, you can't, we never get into you're growing up in Berkeley. You were in the burn and brawl days of UC Berkeley back in the day.
Man, it was things you'd see on Telegraph Avenue, man, as a kid. Unbelievable.
Yeah. We've never really got into that. It's a whole different, because like I'm in Berkeley all the time because my kids are going to Berkeley, and I'm thinking like when you were in Berkeley, it was a whole different deal.
Well, put it like this: People's Park used to be a different People's Park.
Oh yeah. People's Park, very interesting. If you never, probably a lot of you don't understand People's Park in Berkeley. It was a cool spot.
Yeah,
my buddy's band played there one time in the park.
It's
a small little park. Well, it used to be a small little park. They're going to be building on top of it now, and I know it's a whole controversial issue in Berkeley, but yeah, that was a fun little place back in the day.
Yes, indeed, man. Good old days.
Want to get into the White Sox with you because, I mean, this is your business, right? It's when people look at the White Sox. By the way, the White Sox, I mention all the time, the other guys get paid too. You got to watch out. The White Sox just took their first series from the Boston Red Sox. Chris Getz, it's been weird because Kenny Williams, we knew Kenny was with the White Sox for years, came on multiple shows that I did. The Stanford product, grew up in Oakland, played football and baseball at Stanford, a long run, won a World Series, was very close with Jerry Reinsdorf running that organization. Eventually they parted ways. Chris Getz was under him, the former player. Now he's running it. And it's another rebuild for a big market team. They are truly a big market team in the third largest market in the country. You understand, you see it, you as you go around and scout, you know guys with the White Sox. Just, quickly talk about the process. There's a process they're going through again, and we just went through the process. We're kind of coming out of it. You're seeing the fruits of the labor, right? You're seeing Jacob Wilson and Tyler Soderstrom, and Nick Kurtz is going to be coming. I mean, that's what the White Sox are doing again.
It's amazing how timing is everything. This is probably the second rebuild for the White Sox in the last 10 years. And that's the last thing that a club wants to say, is that they're going through a rebuild, a lot of times a reset. But with the White Sox, and I think one of the things that's probably the biggest handicap, which has been such a strength and a blessing, is ownership. Mr. Reinsdorf is one of the most loyal owners in baseball. Basically, you really have to do something bad to get fired there. He take care of his employees. They work there for 20 years or so. It's like free health care for the rest of your life. I mean, it just goes beyond the things that some owners do. And a lot of times they just don't know when change is necessary. And the White Sox won a World Series championship about 20 years ago. So giving people the right leeway to do things the same way, it just came a time where they had to make a change. You got to get with Chris Getz. You don't hear a whole lot about him as a general manager. He was a wise, really good player, smart kid. The culture is changing. The White Sox are going about things a little differently. They're going really scouting heavy on pitching. They're really going in on the metrics of the game now. I mean, when you start talking about bio this, bio that, I mean, breaking down pitchers, hitters, they're doing it. They're getting young kids, and they're trying to get them to buy in and develop them. They've got a couple of guys that came over from Kansas City that have jobs, top jobs over there now, and they bring that kind of culture. And a lot of times it's kind of a copycat, thing in sports. When you see one organization doing something well, kind of like that bat they talking about, it's working
the
for
torpedo
you. We'll try it too, because Kansas City is a team that's well respected with culture. They develop. They have good people working things, and even though they have not won a World Series here of recent, you see some of the players that are coming down the pipe now and the way that they're doing things. So I would be patient if I was a White Sox fan, because there is a plan. But a lot of times it's not 2 or 3. And Towny sitting here watching the A's. There have been years where we think that maybe they should go out and make a move and try to win this thing. But they've always been calculated in what they've been doing. And just like the White Sox in this trade that they traded to Kid Crochet. I mean, this was one of the number 1 prospects in all of baseball. And you said, man, in 5 years from now, man, he'll be our ace in our rotation. Well, guess what? 5 years from now, they may not even be there, but they had an opportunity to collect some minor league players that are still developing, or some that might be very close. And the time frame that they have, from what I hear, been reading, I mean, it's like 2028. So they have a plan. And if that's the case, those players get there during that time. So it'll be interesting. But right now they're going to have to take their whooping like a man, because they play in a pretty good division, and nobody feels sorry for you when you don't have good major league players.
All right. As a scout, you're looking at a kid who's played 26 minor league games, 98 at-bats. He's hitting .367, 11 home runs, 35 RBIs, a 1,253 OPS. He's the number 4 overall pick in last year's draft. He came out as a heralded hitter, defensive first baseman, very smart, knows the strike zone, knows all about data. How do you get Nick Kurtz here? It's like the $1 million question right now. Mark Kotze has had to answer it because he's playing so well. Tyler Soderstrom has got off to a great start at first base. We have told you here on A's Cast Live when we were doing the show in Sacramento, we saw Tyler out in left field with Bobby Crosby. Bobby is coaching the outfielders, former Rookie of the Year for the Athletics. So you're seeing Brent Rooker today will be batting second, playing left field. So Brent Rooker gets in the outfield again. We always told you that was going to happen. But how do you see Nick Kurtz coming up? Because at some point you hit so well, it's ridiculous to have a guy down there like we saw with Jacob Wilson. How can you get Nick Kurtz to fit in here?
What are we in game 20? Close to 20?
We are in officially game 17.
I am a strong proponent of guys getting to the big leagues on merit. I think the good players force their way here. You don't have to get them here. You don't have to ask me, Shooty B, how do we get Kurtz to the big leagues? They force their way. I think our disagreement was, where is Soderstrom going to go? I think we're weak into the season because Nick Kurtz is making noise. And it's a good noise, a good sound to hear because we need players like that. And if he's doing the kind of damage down there that is going to make him come up here and replace somebody else that's on this current roster, then those are the decisions that are going to have to be made. Now, they're tough decisions. It's tough. I mean, when you have to start playing Rook out in left field, when you know coming out that we were hoping that he got the majority of his time probably as designated hitter. We've got Miguel Andujar, who needs to stay off his feet to stay healthy because of his health history in the past. We want his bat in the lineup, so you got to work that way. Seth Brown is not getting as many at-bats as necessary to get him into a rhythm, but when somebody is
knocking,
you gonna hear
is that knocking,
that
or is he like taking the bulldozer to that door?
I'm about to get out the way because if he continues on this path, he'll just gonna knock the whole thing off the hinges, and you just gonna have to get out the way because you'll get destroyed too. But when you've got a power hitting guy, left-hand hitter that has a feel for the bat that can hit. He's not just a slugger that's up there salivating on mistakes in the Pacific Coast League. And that's the one thing that you cannot get fooled about is numbers in the Coast League. I don't care who it is. There is not one single person that we talk about that's in the AAA Hall of Fame. So until I see him up here doing this, I ain't going to get excited. I'm in jubilation right now, but I'm just saying the good ones make the decisions a lot easier for you.
There's been some great players at AAA.
Incredible.
Like, you're like, this guy's going to be great. Not so much. You saw Kurtz at spring training.
Yes, I did. Oh, yeah. It was conversation. The captain, Ken Korak, and I, Dewey, that works for Philadelphia team that's just really good. And they're always looking at our players. As you can see, over the past couple of years, they've acquired some of our players. Pache, the center fielder that we got from the Braves, but always looking for our guys. Matter of fact, is Luzardo over there now too?
Yeah,
you know,
Philly,
so I mean,
starting today, isn't he?
I mean, maybe do we need to start? We need to get a kickback or something. I don't know, but anyway. It happens like that. So if you look at what's going on with them and you're looking at the pitching staff and you're looking at what's happening, what was the question?
You saw him in spring training.
I did see him in spring training. And Dewey and I were having that conversation, and Korak and I were having that conversation, and he was like, man, I don't care, man. This dude's got a break with the club, man. I'm sorry he's got a break with. And I was in that conversation that I was having with you. Soderstrom had enough showing at the end of last year and the adjustment he was making in spring training that he deserved the opportunity to see if this is real or is this right down the pipe. And I think this is real. So let's look at his numbers. How can you deny Soderstrom? But how can you deny what Kurtz is doing? So the problem you have when you start trying to do something different, we saw Chris Davis, and I'll never forget Chris Davis. This was a guy hitting 45 bombs a year for, and he was just so comfortable in the DH role. The first game we put him in left field, what happened?
Pittsburgh.
Ball finds you. What happens? He runs into the rail. He hurts something. Never the same. So I know you can't look at the past moving forward because you're headed for a collision, but you have to think about those things when you have a gift. I mean, it's not so often. Yeah, the first round draft picks and everything, you would think that you would hit on them every time. But if you look at the draft every year, the draft is made in the lower rounds because there's something about that player. It's just something about that player that keeps making you go back to see him. The first round pick, you can go see him the first day and say he won't be there or he's blah, 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 because he's got a track record. But it's something about those guys You know, you look at the Lawrence Butlers. You can look at the A's roster in general because of free agent situation over the years. They have not gotten an opportunity to pick up top and get those premium type guys. But when they finally do get an opportunity and you hit, oh, man, you hit it out the park. So, man, I can't wait to see Kurtz get 100, 150 at-bats here in the major leagues and do the type of damage that he's doing down there up at the biggest league that there is in the world.
But the number one question, but do you love him?
He's making you.
But do you love him,
He's
Shooty?
making. You know how you do like this one time and then you have to turn all the way around? Yeah, he's doing things to make you turn all the way around.
And that's one thing about a scout. You've told me over the years, there's just certain guys who you go, I got to keep seeing this guy. I like this. There's something about this guy.
It's hard, but if you've seen it, you've seen it. And the guys that can make the adjustments to make you go back and see the things that you saw, those guys are special.
We got TV today, Shooty.
Looking forward to it,
Simulcast
man.
also on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network. Good to have you back. You've been we got to see you in Sac. You came up for a game.
Yeah, I couldn't wait. I had to get up there and see what all the excitement was all about, man. And it was everything that had been talked about, man. And I'm just so excited for A's fans in general. You know, love your team. You know, love baseball. Because baseball, it does so much. It brings so many people together, and it's a game for everybody. So, absolutely, man, I'm excited to be here working on April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day. Such a blessing.
And Jackie Robinson made it a game for everybody.
Yes, indeed.
And I think one of the cool things I heard today that I didn't know was, you know, the press, at least at that time, truly got it right. He was voted. There was only one Rookie of the Year. He was voted immediately as Rookie of the Year because he was such a great player. And then he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. They got it right in the very first ballot.
Any parents, teachers, summer school now, great movie to show the kids. 42 is an outstanding movie. I mean, it's very enlightening, very educational, very touching. So I highly recommend that.
It's good to see you.
Thank you, bro.
Coming up next, we're heading to the Windy City. We're going to find out more about this series, A's and White Sox, right here on A's Cast Live.
A's shortstop Jacob Wilson joined Towny on A's Cast Live to discuss the hitting insights he's gained from his father, Jack.
The main thing for me has always been the hands. You know, being able to push the hands back into a certain slot that, you know, I want them to be in to, you know, produce as much force as I can. You know, we talked about kind of throwing a punch. Like you don't want to throw it from a very small angle. You want to really wind
static.
out.
You don't want to be still static.
Yeah, you don't want to be static. You kind of want to reach back and be able to produce as much power as you can. So that's always kind of where the hands come from, being able to push the hands back and you know, really getting into that stance when you want to hit is kind of like, you know, a basketball defender. You don't want to be you don't want to stand up too much because the guy can go around you. You don't want to be too low. You kind of want to be right in that sweet spot. So just being able to get to that point and being able to, you know, get the hands back where they need to be and just, you know, being ready to hit. You know, these guys throw a lot of strikes. You know, they throw a lot of good pitches. So just be able to be as good spot as I can is kind of the main approach.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Here's the pitch, and it's a hit. Folsom Lake Ford has stepped up again, winning the Triple Crown Award, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, now 7 years in a row. Folsom Lake Ford is a top sales leader in the U.S., along with being top in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Now that's a home run. Don't miss the huge savings on your favorite models at your truck headquarters. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall.
A's right fielder Lawrence Butler joined Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live in West Sacramento and revealed the team's mindset heading into the 2025 season.
We have a different mindset than we did in the past couple of years. I mean, we're not like Cots mentioned it in spring training. You know, kind of the previous years it was kind of like next man up. You know, we didn't really know who was going to be on the team. We didn't know who was playing where. But, you know, this year we're coming into it with a lot of solidified spots. And, you know, we're looking to have some real high expectations from a lot of the guys in the clubhouse. So, I mean, it's just a different team. If you watched us this past weekend, you saw that we were a different team. We played like a different team. We carried ourselves like a different team. And it's just going to carry on for the rest of the season.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast. Get your group together and check out all our great hospitality spaces for bonding opportunities, events, or a fun outing of your friends and family. There are 20, 50, and 100-person indoor suites available for select games, as well as an 80-person open-air area with a shaded cover. Secure your group today at athletics.com/hospitality.
A's Cast Live continues from NBC Sports. Here's Chris Townsend.
Jesse Rogers from ESPN Chicago is going to join us in moments. And it's a tough conversation right now. And our buddy Martin Gallegos had the piece. You can see it at MLB.com right now. The title is Number One Prospect Kurtz, Big Bat. And the number, I mean, you look at it, I mean, he's coming. I mean, there's no question about it. How do you work him in?
Well, you can promote that he'll be on our program tomorrow, 2:30.
And he's going to be on the show tomorrow. Are they in Las Vegas right now?
They won today already, so they played an early.
Yeah, everybody has the day off on Monday.
Yeah, so
did he go deep today?
He did on 0 for 4. I don't know. I'm worried.
Do we have Jesse? Jesse, welcome back to A's Cast Live. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to be with you, Chris. What's going on?
Obviously, today is such a big day in Major League Baseball. We'll talk about, the Athletics showing up to Chicago. Talk about the White Sox. Of course, a great start so far after what didn't look so great in Tokyo for the Cubs. Now looks really good. Very strong team. We got to see him at the ballpark in West Sacramento. But just your thoughts, Jackie Robinson Day. It's so special in our game. It should be special really nationwide. As we were just talking with Shooty Babitt, who a player, a scout, an African-American player. And we talked with Shooty about, what he meant to society, Jackie Robinson, as the military wasn't even integrated yet when Jackie Robinson came to Major League Baseball. It just didn't change baseball, Jesse. It changed American society, what he did with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think that's why every team is honoring him, not just the Dodgers or whatnot. Like this is important to the history of the game. And you're right, the history of this country in a lot of ways. So it's kind of cool they do that. I've talked to people, maybe they should do it, on a Sunday so everyone's sort of more aware of it. But this is what they've chosen to do. And I like the fact that everyone is honoring him. That makes it feel big. So I think that's the coolest part of this thing. It's just not limited to the team he played on or whatever the case may be. So everybody watching tonight is going to see number 42 all over the place.
Now, obviously, the Athletics coming to Chicago. They're not happy about their record so far, especially the record at home. They've been better on the road, but you're seeing some of the young players, Jesse, that we have talked about in the past, that these guys are coming. They are here now, and they're impressive. Are you excited to see these A's coming to the Windy City?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's turning into a little bit of a Coors Field, non-Coors Field factor when you think about what we've seen so far in Sacramento. So I think even the Athletics, probably the A's are kind of sort of understanding of what the road is like compared to home. I think they're still getting used to that. So here they come to Chicago. It's going to play real for their pitchers. Now, a lot of times the White Sox Park rate field can play small, but that's in the summer. Now it plays big, especially for Thursday's game. The day games the ball doesn't travel as well. It does a little bit at night. But the other thing is the White Sox just can't hit. So if you're struggling on the mound, you want to come face the White Sox. They do play better in the early going at home here, but that's mostly on the mound. They're featuring 5 starters tonight hitting in the lineup, 5 guys in the lineup, well under 200. So, and we're talking about former stars like Luis Robert under 200, Andrew Vaughn, a first-round pick under 200, Andrew Benintendi's hurt. So I think the Athletics are going to find the road a little bit better, at least on the mound. I do like your young hitting group. I watched Wilson in college. I thought he was going to be a player, and he certainly is showing up. And, I know Brent Rooker's not hitting great, but he'll still get his home runs. And I still like the A's. I think they're just off to a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah, and this is a series that you might say, well, this is where you can get right. The only thing is you never know. Like, look what just happened with the White Sox. They just took a series from the Red Sox. The Red Sox thought this was a get-right series for them. It didn't work out that way.
Yeah, they're just showing a little bit more of a vibe at home, it feels like. They're like top 5 in home ERA, 2.5 ERA at home. and that's with a very young starting staff. But these are some talented young pitchers. You'll see their opening day starter tonight, Sean Burke. There's Davis Martin in this series, Jonathan Cannon. These are not household names, but in a couple years, the White Sox rotation could be the envy of a lot of GMs. And why do I say that? It's going to be a very cheap but talented rotation. They really have just one veteran, Martin Perez. He's making $5 million. It's all young guys. They're very, very talented. And not surprising, they just seem and look a little bit more comfortable at home. So you're right. You can't overlook them. It feels like at home, Sox have been kind of bad so far on the road, but not surprised that a young team would feel better at home. So, yeah, I don't think the Athletics can come in here and think it's 3 wins, because the Red Sox, I think, thought that, and they lost 2 out of 3.
Let's head to the north side, because we got to see the Cubs in Sacramento. I was so impressed. Do you think how tough their schedule has been to start? You had the Dodgers in Tokyo. You've had the Padres now twice. They've played a lot of good teams. I got to tell you, they were impressive, very athletic. They can run. They take 90 feet. They run the bags well. They've got power. Could the Chicago Cubs be one of the big shockers to start out Major League Baseball? They're way better than we thought.
I think offensively they might be. Now, they had a good April last year. A lot of teams get off to good starts or bad starts, and then it reverses itself. But it does feel like that offense has some staying power. There's some holes in that staff now that Justin Steele is down. But let's go back to that offense. I mean, it's Kyle Tucker making a huge difference in the middle of the lineup. And the Cubs are getting like the best version of Kyle Tucker. Yeah. He was kind of finding his way those first few years in Houston, still putting up good numbers. But now here's a guy that might walk more than he strikes out, and he's got all the slug to him. You know, they're reminding me a little bit of Craig Counsell's teams in Milwaukee, but with more slug, because slug costs you money, and the Brewers didn't spend money on sluggers. The Cubs have a few. When Seiya Suzuki's in there, you guys saw him. Yeah. And like I mentioned with Tucker's, Dansby Swanson, healthy this year, can hit the ball out of the yard. And then you add speed guys like Pete Armstrong and Nico Horner, and actually some of their backups like John Birdie. So I think you're right. There's a very diversified of impact with that lineup right now. If they don't get you with the slug, they'll get you with the speed. We just have to see it more consistently. Are they as good offensively as maybe the Phillies or the Dodgers or the Yankees? Pound for pound, no. But they're probably as good as anybody in the NL Central, and that's all that matters right now.
You do such a great job covering this game, all the teams, all 30 teams nationally. So let's do a 2-parter here. First part, what have you liked so far? What have been the big takeaways for you, the positives so far in baseball?
Oh, I mean, the NL West is just stacked. And you know, everybody talks about the Dodgers and what they do, but what else have they done? They've raised that division. There's no doubt in my mind that because they're up here, everyone else is trying to get there. And I think you see that, let's say, in the AL and NL Centrals. Hey, there's no big spender. The Cubs are one of those, you know, mid-tier spending teams. So nobody is trying to achieve, you know, and chase a team like the Dodgers. Look at the Padres over the last few years. Now the Giants under Buster Posey. What a great vibe he's brought to the table. I don't know if it's going to last, but I think everybody kind of enjoys that old school catcher vibe that Posey's brought to him. And I think the players are kind of, vibing to his way of thinking and the way he goes about his business. So I love everything going on in the NL West in particular. I've always liked the Diamondbacks, going back to obviously when they made the World Series. They're going to be a player at the end of the day. So there's 4 solid teams out West. And I think it's all because the Dodgers raised the bar. I hope other teams sort of follow suit and raise their own bar without having to just find it in another team, so to speak. So my vote for most entertaining division is the NL West, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb.
That is such a good point. I mean, and, you know, because if you don't try and keep up with the Dodgers, you'll thoroughly get embarrassed. So that's a great point. It's made, you know, as they say, the tide raises all boats. I mean, they have forced, hey, San Diego, hey, Arizona, hey, San Francisco, you better bring it or you're going to have you could have struggling years for a long time. Dodgers, I love it. Dodgers have made everybody better in that division except the Rockies.
Yeah, and the funny thing is the Rockies have a good fan base, good ballpark. They should be, and they have some deep pockets. They should be able to take advantage of it and join those other teams, but they've just mismanaged things in Colorado. But, I mean, Arizona is a great example of an organization that was kind of, you know, muddling along, and then they made the right decisions. I mean, daily, you have to just make the right decisions and then they spent money. You got to give the ownership there in Arizona credit. They found a good team, young team, and then added to it with players. And here, of course, all of a sudden you've become a destination. Corbin Burns comes to you and says, I want to play for you. So this is what's gone on in the NL West. I think Buster Posey will have that effect in San Francisco. I remember talking to an agent in a couple, just 2 years ago, and he said, look, back when the Giants were winning divisions and championships in 2010, 12, 14, every client of mine would ask me, hey, did San Francisco call? Did San Francisco call? Fast forward a decade, nobody was asking this agent, hey, did San Francisco call? Nobody wanted to play there. Well-documented post-pandemic, some things. But now, all of a sudden, a guy like Buster Posey, a charismatic individual in charge, Melvin, a good manager, that's become a destination. I think will become a destination again. We already saw Willie Adames sign up there. So it can be done. And I think the Dodgers showed the way.
All right, the second part of that, what are the big stinkers for you to start the year?
Yeah, well, I mean, I hate to go to injuries, but I hate the fact that we're seeing so many pitching injuries all of a sudden. I mean, not all of a sudden. It's almost predictable. Garrett Cole goes down. The Cubs, Justin Steele goes down. I mean, we're seeing it year in and year out. And my point is early in the season. That's a stinker to me. The one thing that came about from the league doing a study on pitching injuries that was interesting to me, because most of it was kind of predictable. Like if you're going to try to throw 100, you're going to hurt your arm. That stuff we understood. But what they're doing in the offseason, these pitchers, is leading to early season injuries. You would think logically we'd see more pitching injuries late in the year as innings pile up on guys. That's not been the case over the last 3 or 4 years. We're seeing early season injuries because they're working too hard in the offseason. They're working their arms too hard, chasing velocity, chasing different kinds of pitches. I was talking to Shota Imanaga of the Cubs and asked him about what he learned from Paul Skeens in the offseason because they met at a dinner. And he said that Skeens told him, I'm already throwing. And I don't remember what it was, November, December. I'm already throwing. And Imanaga found that interesting. Oh, maybe I should throw earlier. No, rest those arms. So one thing that I don't like is all these pitching injuries, and I don't feel like pitchers are learning. Teams would love for them to back off a little bit in the offseason. Pitchers aren't doing it.
Well, we got a chance to talk to Shota. I was down the bullpen with our pitching coach, Scott Emerson, and we were joking with him how he always does his Starbucks order Mike, and they've now put Mike up there in the clubhouse. What a funny guy. Great personality. So many of these Japanese players have great personalities. That kind of leads me to, and let's end on this, as we talk about guys throwing in the offseason. As Aaron Judge has been named the captain of the American team, we've seen the success, how hockey's been doing it. We just love around the world when our professional athletes represent our countries. The WBC last time was a huge hit. The television numbers in Japan were just insane. A lot of people fired up about it in our country. The growth of the WBC, what we think it can be, and I love Aaron Judge being the captain. We name it now, had a press conference, something special. Just your overall view of how they're going about it and trying to build it.
Well, first of all, he looks like Captain America, so he should be captain, right? Yeah. He's a brute. What's interesting is, and I'm one of those jaded media guys, when you think about the WBC right now, yes, they named the captain. Okay, it's fine. My point is, once we get into it is when people really get into it, because it's almost like, what are they breaking up spring training for? What are they doing? And then you get into it, and as soon as you put up the flag of your country, whether it be American flag, Japanese, whatever, everyone gets excited. The players get excited. The countries get excited. It's kind of wild because baseball in the Olympics isn't a big thing. So this is the thing. This is the thing that brings everybody together. And you don't see that in baseball. We're 30 different fan bases until the WBC. So I kind of like when it just kind of appears. And then all of a sudden we're into some intense baseball, country versus country, crazy fan bases going nuts, and sort of the build up to it is fun. It's hard to visualize a couple years out, right? But once we get closer, I think people have gotten into it. It certainly has taken some time to grow media-wise and fan-wise. But once we get to March and it's here, everyone gets excited.
Well, whether it's in season, the winter meetings, or wherever, we love having you on the program. You do such a great job. Enjoy baseball season. It's still early. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk to you later in the season. You be well.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. Yeah, he's fantastic. And whenever we're doing anything in Chicago, you want to – I'll get the chair back here, Cody. When we're doing anything with Chicago, we would like to love to bring Jesse on because obviously Jesse is just fantastic and covering the game nationally. Steele's out now for the year?
He's having elbow surgery.
When did that come out?
Yesterday.
I took yesterday off, by the way. I was like, you know what? I've worked all these games. We've done I had a full day off yesterday. It was great. Got to play a little golf back home, back in my own bed after 8 nights in Sacramento, which, by the way, I'm really enjoying. I think everybody that's traveling up there for the home games have really enjoyed. I've enjoyed downtown. We found a lot of new restaurants, found a great New Mexican spot around the block from my hotel there in downtown Sacramento. Road Trip Mike and I were in there. Ramon Hernandez showed up with a couple of his buddies. Steve Finelli, VP of tickets. What is Finelli's official title?
Like senior. He's
sales.
He's like VP of business operation.
Yeah,
he has some fancy title.
So whatever our big VP, Steve Finelli, was in there. So found a new spot. We've really enjoyed it.
Well, Ron Darling emailed me this morning. Said, hey, thanks.
Ron?
Yeah,
Ronnie?
After we told him thanks and we did the interview with him on Saturday, and we're going to play it here in about 15 minutes. Ron Darling with you and Steve Sachs, he texted me or emailed me this morning, said, hey, Cody, thanks again for having me on with Sachs and Chris. It was a great time. Here's a couple places to go check out in Sacramento. And he mentioned Sal's Tacos. I was like, I've been there, but that place is great.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned a breakfast spot he really liked. So Ron Darling giving me recommendations on places to go in Sacramento.
Ronnie, good dude. Ron Darling is such a good guy. On that WBC, because we just experienced the hockey was called what?
Four Nations face-off.
Four Nations. I mean, when we're in Arizona, which struggled to keep hockey and didn't end up keeping hockey, to be there at spring training and to watch all the bars and restaurants be packed for those games in hockey when they couldn't even keep the Coyotes. I mean, think about that.
Yeah, they're now in Salt Lake City.
So you couldn't even keep the Coyotes, but yet this tournament, because there is just something that we as sports fans, we're suckers for when guys put on the flags. When they represent the countries, we're just suckers for it. How well is the WBC going to do? I don't know. I mean, really, if you don't have the United States in it, it's going to struggle. And really, if you don't have United States, Japan, it's going to, I mean, that's really what everybody wants to see, right? It was the United States versus Shohei Ohtani. That was the sizzle on the steak. If you don't have the United States in it, yeah, you might have. If Japan's in it, you're going to have huge numbers in Japan. You take the United States out of it, what are we talking about?
That's why it was so great to see Ohtani versus Trout.
And don't tell me the Dominican Republic, because let me tell you something. The people are not going to flock because Juan Soto, they're not going to flock to the whole Dominican team. They're just not. It's just not. And you're not going to care about the TV numbers in the Dominican Republic, and you're going to get no numbers here. It is what it is. The United States team has to be in the final. They have to make a run to the final. You got to have the American stars in there to make this thing go. Why do all these events work? Why does the Ryder Cup work in golf? Because it's the Americans versus the Europeans. You take the American teams out. If you take American out, I mean, that's what, it's not the Olympics, right? It's not the Olympics being shown in every single country. So the Americans don't have to be in the WBC. If the American team gets eliminated early, it's going to be a dud. Yeah, I hate to tell you.
That's why it was so great that we made it to the championship against Japan last year.
It made for the big numbers. It made for the huge numbers. If you take the United States team out, I dig how Mark DeRosa is going to be the manager again. I dig how Aaron Judge is going to be the captain. And we're starting to promote it because that's what you need to do, right? When we look at these events like the hockey's so interesting because hockey struggles enough that they realize they have to do this in season, right? It's like when hockey said, yep, we're putting our players in the Olympics. We need to do it for our game. When hockey shut down for a year, it dramatically affected the game. So they understand they got to do whatever they can, and it was brilliant. They do it in season, though. That's kind of our problem. Like, how cool would it be if we shut down for 2 weeks, which is never going to happen. But, well, you know what? Never say never, because people said we'd never have a clock. People said we'd never have a DH in both leagues. There's been a lot of nevers in our game.
A lot of good numbers on the how the clock's done, too, we can get into sometime.
So I'm never going to say never. Maybe at some point, if attendance and ratings and stuff is so down, maybe baseball bites the bullet. Owners are all about one thing. Does it generate revenue? And if you can generate revenue, let's face it. Actually, you know what? I'm taking it all back. Can I do a rewind there? I'm taking it all back. Why not do this during July?
Yeah,
there's no television contracts anymore. We're about to have 25 teams that are gonna. Everybody's gonna be streaming, which we told you right here on everybody's gonna be streaming. Why not? The All-Star game has not done well in years in ratings, and you have that part of July baseball has to itself. There's nothing else going on. What else is going on?
Nothing.
Arena football?
Literally nothing.
I love arena football, but nothing. So why not? To hell with it. Let's shut it down for 2 weeks, do a tournament, and make it like summertime, and then you're bringing out everybody. You got all these different teams. And the more you play it, because look, you look at like the Italian team. It's all American players, right? So you're going to start growing all these different countries and really start to make these rivalries. Why not do it? Why not do it every 2 years in the summer? Why not?
Well, hockey.
You can't tell me the way things are going when you look at attendance, look out television. Baseball needs change. So I take everything back. Yes, this is something we could do in season. You're going to have to bite the bullet. But once again, whatever you're not making, you'd have to figure out a way to get the owners. You got to put some money in their pockets, and you can make it happen.
Hockey, they took away their All-Star game this year for the Four Nations. And
because they're hot, no one watched it anymore. No one cares about the skills game.
Yeah,
no one cares.
When I've been to the home run derby I didn't go last year, but every year prior, I went the last 3 years. So the home run derby with my buddies, we do it as a guys trip kind of thing. That's what we watch. We don't watch the All-Star game. I mean, nobody really watches it. Now that doesn't mean anything. I mean, no, there's not for World Series home field advantage. I mean, no one's really.
Home run derby used to be great. Everybody got 10 outs. You got up there, you hit, and it was over. Now that they've made it the ESPN and round after round after round, it's lost its luster. So really, the Midsummer Classic isn't what it used to be. You still want to have an All-Star game? We can figure that out. Hell, they used to have 2 All-Star games. But I think every 2 years you could shut down baseball. How many weeks? Modify it, whatever you need to do, modify it. Because the one thing was they were playing, all over the world, right? Modify it to where you're playing 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we did it was 2 years ago, whenever the World Baseball Classic was. It was the beginning of last year. It was played 2 weeks before the season, and then there was all these restrictions on guys could only pitch so much.
Towny wasn't a Dodger yet, was he?
Yeah, he was.
He hadn't played for the Dodgers.
No.
So it was last spring training.
Yeah, and
not this past year, the year before.
2024. There were so many restrictions on it too, with guys, so many guys, teams that want their guys pitching too much because of injuries, which I understand. It was something
make the rosters bigger.
Yeah. D-Row was on with the award-winning Front Office show on Sunday with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden on MLB Network Radio. And he mentioned that about how they need to rethink how they do that with the rosters and pitching because so many guys can't
have 35. What are the rosters now?
I don't know the specifics, but a lot of the pitchers can't pitch deep or go long because teams don't want them to.
So have like a bazillion pitchers. You already have a bazillion pitchers anyway. What's 5 more? I mean, there's just more unnamed guys that are coming out of the bullpen anyway. I mean, have as many pitchers as you want. That'll make teams hopefully a little more comfortable. But also, if you did it during the summertime, because the big now we fear about pitching year round, but the big fear is that these guys haven't played really competitive. It's been spring training, yada yada. Midsummer, these guys have been paid. They've already played a first half.
Yeah, that's why it makes more sense.
And if you make the staff deeper, some of these guys will be getting more of a break because we burn out our best relievers. Hell, now if you're like, yeah, he pitches like every 3 days for Team USA or the Dominican or Venezuela or Japan or whatever, you're actually saving some arms.
Well, you could tie it into something happening right now in our sport right now. We're talking about on the way up here. Emmanuel Clase, the guy has been bad since the postseason last year because the Guardians used him so much, so it might be a little overuse on his body, and it's kind of tying what you're doing. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, just have a bunch of relievers or set different limits on how many innings or pitches guys can throw in the World Baseball Classic, so you don't feel like you're breaking the rules that teams are setting for the rosters, because that's what was going on last time. The guys were allowed to throw more than 20 or 25 pitches. How many innings? They got to rethink how they do all that. But it's exciting, and the World Baseball Classic was a lot of fun the last time that it was played, and it was US and Japan.
We got to make it so it's not baseball nerds only.
Yeah, and I do like your idea of doing it in the midseason and not in spring training.
Because now you're not. What are you fighting in July? You have it all to yourself. That's the thing. It's like the biggest problem with the Ryder Cup in golf is you're doing it during football season. NBC spends a lot of money for it. I mean, because as you saw, this Masters, we were working, but this Masters was great. Rory McIlroy completing the Grand Slam, and the Masters got massive television ratings, as it always does. Well, you throw the Ryder Cup, you have to do everything away from football. It is what it is. Why the NBA says, you know what, we're not really starting until Christmas Day. It doesn't. I mean, it's just like when you fight football, it's death. Football takes all the oxygen, and we're consumed because the NFL is the biggest. What's the second biggest thing?
College football.
College football. When Texas and Georgia's getting over 20 million people to watch it. I mean, it's a regular season SEC game, and you're getting over 20 million people to watch on TV. You can't beat those numbers. So this is a time baseball's got to capitalize like it used to, saying, oh, we're going to have Big Papi in the dugout and we're going to have players taking photos with each other that's not doing it, man. You got to figure out how to get some sizzle on the steak. And I love the idea. And now people can't say what we talk about on this show is crazy, because look at all the changes. We have bigger bags. We have a clock, right? We have all these things that people said would never happen in baseball. Change. All these changes have been great in baseball. And I'm thinking about shutting down for 2 weeks, and you want to get America fired up about America, right? Hell, you could do it. You could do it. You want to be smart? Do it during 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. Everyone's around.
I remember, I'll never forget one of this soccer. I was one of the big soccer. What was it?
We call that the World Cup.
Was it World Cup?
It's usually around that time.
It could have been Summer Olympics.
Oh, the World Cup's usually around that time.
It might have been the Brandy Chastain.
Oh, yeah. That was 90. That was lit.
Because I remember being in San Diego on the beach. Everybody left the beach, and all the bars were slammed, and everything was United States soccer. Might have been the Brandy Chastain. What year was that? 94? 90. This was back in my hanging out at the beach all day long days.
99.
99?
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't 99.
Yeah, we got to go. Got to go to break.
I'll figure out what big. No. It was World Cup. It was men's World Cup, and I think we were at Stanford playing. The United States was playing at Stanford. I'll figure it out. And what do we got next?
We'll do Ron Darling, because Johnny's going to be up after that.
The great Ron Darling will join us right here on A's Cast Live.
Get your group together and check out all our great hospitality spaces for bonding opportunities, events, or a fun outing of your friends and family. There are 20, 50, and 100-person indoor suites available for select games, as well as an 80-person open-air area with a shaded cover. Secure your
corner outfield spot. I mean, I would feel really comfortable in any of those situations. I mean, obviously, you'd have to put some time in and kind of, like I said, learn the position and what it entails. But yeah, I mean, I feel like my athleticism really carry me anywhere I need to go.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right. Cody gets me all the time on my memory. You got to remember, I've had 6 documented concussions, and I've had far more. So someday I might be mush. But I was correct. July 4th, 1994, the U.S. played Brazil at Stanford Stadium in the World Cup. Now, for all of you who remember that, I was in San Diego at the time. Before I get into my beach days, let's pause for station identification right here on A's Cast. So every single year when I was in college playing at San Jose State, I would go back to San Diego and I would play. There was a wood bat, really great league that Major League Baseball sponsored. It was a wood league bat, and it was all the guys who grew up in that area. Everybody was Division I. Everybody was, guys, most all guys except me got drafted and were really good players. And I'd go back home and I'd play in this league. And then we'd spend all the time at the beach. You're in college, you're having a good time. And July 4th, like in all beach towns, is massive. San Diego's 7th, whatever, largest city in the country. It's a huge city, right? And so the beaches are just slammed. I'll never forget how many people, we all got off the beach and we all watched this game. It was incredible. July 4th, 1994, Brazil versus the U.S. This is my point for the World Baseball Classic. Here you go, right here. I remember it. I lived it. If you were a little bit older and you remember 1994, can't believe I'm saying that, but if you remember 1994,
that was 5.
You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I guarantee that game got monster ratings. It was Brazil. It was U.S. Can you imagine? You're not probably going to get that. You're not going to get World Cup numbers, but you could get massive numbers if on July 4th you got the United States playing playing Japan or playing the Dominican Republic for the championship of the World Baseball Classic. Americans playing on July 4th, and then you got the team playing again. You could be huge. Shut it down for 2 weeks. Figure it out. You could figure it out.
No, I like the idea and plus in 94, that was the strike year, right? So that would have been perfect during that time because there's the season. The season ended in August.
How do you not like Aaron? So, Mark DeRose has to be, I talked to Trouty.
True. He's got to be political about it. Trouty's
why?
Trouty was Mr. America.
You're not Mr. America. Captain America, that Captain America got retired. We need a new Captain America. Guy that can play. Aaron Judge fits perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
He's the largest human being to ever play Major League Baseball if you count his height and his weight. Juan Soto's even admitting to the New York press. That will be a part of my hot take. It's not as easy to hit when you don't have that guy. You know why? I know you don't think about this, but when you're a pitcher and you're standing up there and Juan Soto comes to the plate, you don't think the pitcher notices who comes up after him on deck? You don't think pitchers and pitching coaches aren't looking at the lineup to see who comes up next? And when a guy who's 6'8", 300 pounds comes out into the on-deck circle, you don't think everybody in the ballpark notices that? Aaron Judge walks out onto the field and everybody goes, uh-oh. Aaron Judge is incredible. And I don't like the Yankees.
There's a reason why he's tied for the league leading home runs and everything else.
Forget that. The guy is becoming, he hasn't done the postseason. I get it. But regular season, he has as many home runs in the first 1,000 games as Babe Ruth. This guy's going to the Hall of Fame. He's going to be looked at as an all-time great. At some point, he'll probably do something in the postseason. But you don't think the pitcher sees when that dude comes out on deck, 6'7", 300 pounds or whatever they list him at? You don't think as a pitcher you go, I don't want that. I don't want anybody on when that guy comes up. Hell yeah, I'm pitching to Juan Soto because I don't want to pitch to that guy. He's a monster. When you see him around the batting cages, when we've seen him in the past, you just can't believe how. But he looks like an offensive tackle in the NFL. He's crazy big, and he's incredibly gifted to move. I think he's such a great, to say that's Captain America, because that's what Captain America should look like. 6'7" and built. I mean, he's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, he plays for the Yankees, and what he does, and being in the same breath as the guy that we look at when we talk about every major statistical thing, and even the more sabermetric numbers like OPS plus, all the advanced numbers. It's Babe Ruth's that guy, and Aaron Judge is now becoming that guy in the sport right now. Between the home runs, getting on base, the slug, hard hit rate, barrel percentage, all that stuff. Anything you want to look at, he's on the leaderboard. If he's not leading, he's in the top 3 on everything. It's a well-deserved honor for him to be.
Reality is, he really is the home run king of the regular season.
Yeah,
he hit 62, and he did it clean. He was tested. He did it clean. Bonds, McGuire, Sosa, all the guys that have hit 60, modern day guys, they didn't do it clean. I mean, technically, this guy should be the home run champ. I have no problem saying that. I covered the Bonds run. I was standing behind home plate. I was doing the pre and post game show that day that Barry Bonds on KMBR in San Francisco when Barry Bonds hit home run number 73 against, was it Russ Springer, the knuckleballer? Right?
Yes. Sorry, I was thinking of when he hit the
73. He hit it, and I'm like, I'm watching a human being who just hit his 73rd. It wasn't real what he did, and then followed up last year with 58. 58.
How many doubles did he have last year? Didn't he have close to 50 doubles?
He had 36 doubles, 58. Okay. Aaron Judge last year hit 322 for, you can't hit for batting average. He hit 322 with 58 home runs, 36 doubles, 144 RBIs, 133 walks. His OPS plus was 223.
League average is 100.
League average is 100. 160 is an elite player.
He was
160, right? You'd say 160
Yes.
and above? Because like Rooker was over 160. Rooker was an elite player last year. It was 223.
It's insane.
It's one of the greatest years in the history of baseball. So you know what? I'm cool with this guy being Captain America. And I would love to build the WBC. We just need to put it at a different time.
And I do think putting it, like we talked about, I do think putting it in the middle of, around the All-Star break or replacing the All-Star break every couple of years with it is a good idea. As we wait for Johnny D, he said he was going to try to make it back up. He was interviewing Caray at the top of the hour. So,
well, let's go to Ron Darling.
Okay.
Ron Darling, one of the top broadcasters in our game now, former player, won the World Series in '86 with the Mets, pitched for the Athletics, and he and Keith Hernandez. I'm not a Mets guy.
Hold on. I think Johnny D's here now. Yeah, he is.
So we're now going to go to Johnny D.
Yeah.
Where is my guy, Johnny D? Hi, Johnny D.
Hi, guys.
How is Chicago?
Chicago's great. Off day yesterday. Went to Harry Carey's with Chris Caray and Stephen Caray and Mama Caray. We had a ball. We had a ball out there, man. So it's
great
fun.
restaurant. The memorabilia is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, Towny. Oh my gosh, that place is crazy. It was so cool. So cool.
Well, I didn't think about it. I was just happy to be home and to be in my own bed and see my dog. How great is an off day in Chicago? Wow, that's awesome.
It was phenomenal, man. We walked everywhere. Got about 20,000 steps in, walked everywhere.
Yeah.
It was just awesome having an off day there. It was cool, but it was like 47, 48. But that crisp, cool weather that I love, Towny. I just get bundled up and walk around. It was awesome. Yeah, it was fun.
I'm happy for you guys because there's some days you have an off day and you're like, great, we're in Houston. No offense to Houston or Cincinnati. No offense to the Natty, but there's some places you're like, Chicago, one of the great. You get New York, Chicago, Boston, Toronto. I love Philly. There's a lot of places that are phenomenal to have a day up. All right, are we ready for hot takes? We got to get you out of here. You're calling 6 innings tonight?
I'll call 5. I'm going to give Chris 4 today. I'm going 5 and 4. That's how I do it.
We got to listen to him for 4 innings.
Yep.
We got to listen to Chris Caray talk about himself for 4 innings.
You know what? He's going to be talking baseball.
Okay. Just checking. We love Chris Caray, for God's sake.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, wow. Wow. He said, "Speak for yourself." Wow. Wow. No, to be honest with you, he sounds great because a lot of people now just know him as the TV, but he came from doing play-by-play on the radio in AA. So it's like he is a radio guy, and I think it's great because we used to always have Ray Fosse come up. I love when broadcast teams, when guys are like I enjoyed you doing television. You and Dallas were great. Like I like when we have some crossover.
Go back and forth. Hey, Towny, can I show you the stadium? Can I show you guys the stadium?
Rate. It's not guaranteed rate anymore, right?
It's just rate.
Oh, it's just rate field. It's rate field. That's right. Rate.
Wait a minute. You got rid of my guaranteed rate?
Yeah. What's going on here?
Now you're just giving me a rate. It's not guaranteed.
I don't like it.
You can use that in the broadcast if you
want.
I will. I've always thought that ballpark looks good on tele. I've never been.
It's nice. It's really nice. I like it. I like it a lot, man. What's your hot takes? What do you guys got?
Let's go. Let's go.
Every once in a while, you hear a really good sports hot take.
I don't think we're seeing Juan Soto for 5-6 guys. I'm predicting we will not see one blazing hot big trade.
Paul Skeens will pitch in the Major League Baseball All-Star game this season.
He started
11 home runs at least in the next this 3-game series. That's a lot of home runs for a 3-game series.
Then you hear some really bad hot takes.
The St. Louis Cardinals are going to win the NL Central.
Book it.
Brent Rooker will win the 2024 Home Run Derby. Can't call me out on it.
Hernandez retiring is bad for baseball.
Well, on A's Cast Live, all takes are hot takes. It's time for Hot Takes Tuesday with Chris Townsend, only on A's Cast Live.
I still can't get over it. By the way, Brent Rooker has to be in the Home Run Derby before
to win
he
it.
can win the
To
Home
win
Run
it, yeah.
Derby. I'm just saying. You can't win the Masters unless you're actually in the tournament.
That is correct.
Kind of how it works. Johnny, you can lead us off today from not guaranteed rate, just rate field.
Well, it is a White Sox related take.
Oh,
because everybody thinks the White Sox are going to have the worst record in baseball again. Like across the board, everybody says that. I'm here to say that this year in 2025, they will not have the worst record in baseball. They will not. They will not. I think the Rockies will have a worse record than the White Sox. You can quote me.
Book it.
Book it. The Rockies will have a worse record than the White Sox after 162 this year.
That's not a bad call. That's not a bad call because the Rockies are going to have to play their division is the best in baseball.
Yes.
You got all these teams that are really hot in the West.
That's 52 games, right? That's 52 games against the West, exactly.
Might be a very good call.
And the Rockies just went 3 games over the weekend without scoring a run.
Yeah.
So
I was watching the Dodgers-Rockies last night on MLB Network. I had it on the background, and it was like, Rockies haven't scored in 32 innings or something like that. It was like,
See, it's funny you mentioned the Rockies because I was actually going to go – I changed mine, but I was going to say Buddy Black would be the first manager relieved of his job. But I unfortunately think it's going to be my guy.
That's crazy because I was going to go I was going to go Chris Bryant's going to be the comeback player of the year. Guess that wouldn't be
I really think our good friend Shelty might be the first guy that's out.
Chris Bryant's contract's a bust. Would that be a hot take?
You think? Yeah, that's a real hot take. Yeah.
Johnny, I like that because everybody said this could be historically bad. You're saying you're going Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast, my friend. Yep, exactly.
I like it.
So there's a pitcher that's thrown his slider 112 times this year. Batters are 0 for 29 against it. He's the only MLB pitcher to throw 100 miles an hour, or throw 100 plus mile an hour pitch multiple times without any hits allowed. 13 strikeouts, good whiff rate, all this stuff. The guy's a 1 ERA since last July. Hunter Green will start the All-Star game for the National League.
Wow, that's a fairly hot take. I mean, it's hard to start an All-Star game.
Well, Skeens did it last year as a rookie, so we'll see if Hunter Green can do it. I mean, he's been pretty awesome for the Reds.
Yeah. All
right. The best pitcher in baseball, apparently.
Hunter Green's going to start the All-Star game, huh?
Well, you said it was going to be Skeens or Blake Snell. Johnny said Glass now.
I definitely said it won't be Chris Bryant. Okay, is that's your blazing hot take?
Yeah, my Astros one last week was better.
Okay, all right. Well,
Towny was unimpressed by that. He was unimpressed.
Yeah, I'm not. I got to be honest with you. I'm not that impressed. I'm stealing from Rod Parker on MLB.
Rob Parker.
What did I say? Rob Parker, nicknamed Juan Soto, Juan So-So. Here is my hot take. Juan Soto will not hit 25 home runs. He will not have 100 RBIs, and there will be panic in Queens that already first year in, the contract is an absolute dud. Already showing up today in the New York papers, Juan Soto's talking about, yes, it's definitely not hit. It's hard to hit without Aaron Judge behind you. Aaron Judge continues to hit without Juan Soto. Juan Soto, as I've always said, yes, he's going to walk. He's going to have an on-base percentage. But when he's on first base, he's a slug. He's tough to score. It'll be 1 year in, and people are going to be looking at, oh, my God, $765 million. What did we do? He will not hit 25 home runs, and he will not have 100 RBIs. And Juan Soto, the largest contract in the history of American professional sports, will already look like a dud after 1 year. That is my hot take. In 2 hot takes so far, I've taken down the Dodgers, and now I'm taking down Juan Soto.
Those are blazing. Man.
Take it.
Man.
Johnny, did you know that the hit he had with runners in scoring position last night was the first one he's had this year? And it was only home run.
Guys, I need a minute. on that take. I need a minute.
So let it simmer, Johnny. What do you think? 700. Wow. He's making $61 million. 61. Like, what do you have to do to have people like look at you and go, that's a pretty good year? Let me tell you something. Walking and playing a bad right field is not going to do it.
God, Towny, man.
He had 41 home runs last year, Johnny. He was an MVP candidate. He ain't going to sniff that. I was going to say 30 home runs, but that's not that hot of a take. I went to 25.
That's blazing. Hot. Wow.
Well, he's a 2 right now, and it took him 14 games to hit a second one. So at that pace, you might actually get it.
I'm
sure we'll get the RBI.
Speechless. I am speechless on that, Towny.
Juan So-So.
Man. That's a strong statement.
Is that or the Dodger take more bold?
I think that's more bold.
Wow. Well, because let me tell you something. These contracts, I mean, it's starting with when you really look at Mike Trout, everybody's like, wow, it's a lot of money for a guy who just keeps getting hurt now. I mean, obviously, Shohei Ohtani's a different dude because he pays for his contract. Like the return on investment, he deferred all the money. The contract really in the end is going to be worth, if you look at dollar-wise, like $400-something million. The money they're making from Japan and international money, what they're making domestically from him. Juan Soto, you got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hasn't hit a home run this year, and he's got a $500 million contract.
Yeah.
People are going to really look at these contracts in this next CBA and go, we're paying these guys. I mean, what do you have to do to really be looked at like you're earning your money? Like this Chris Bryant, 180-something million, his back is thrashed. Basically his career's over. There's so many of these contracts that look horrible.
I know. I can't wait to tell Chris what your hot take was. It's incredible. It's amazing.
What'd you have to eat at Harry's?
I went with the Oscar ribeye. So it's a 12-ounce Oscar ribeye with a crab on it. It was so good. Oh my! It was so good.
Oh, a ribeye with crab on it?
Oh, Towny,
stop it!
Ridiculous.
When are we doing our next steak dinner?
I don't know. We got to go to Fats first, though, man. We got to get back to Frank Fats together.
Frank Fats. I drive by Frank Fats every single day on my way to the ballpark. I come around from my hotel. I make the right, whatever that street is. I go by the Capitol. I go down. Then Frank Fats is on my left, and then the G1C, as we locals like to call it, the Golden Munster is on my right.
As us locals like to call it.
Every day. I mean, am I not a local? I'm in Sacramento more than most Sacramento people.
Wait till you see what we wear tomorrow on the show, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, we got Like the Beam shirts tomorrow, Johnny.
Our Kings are playing the Mavs.
I bought us Like the Beam shirts at the Kings game.
Hey, say hi to Chris Caray.
Hey, there's the TV guy. Oh, he can't hear us?
Oh, he has it.
What a honk. He's repping his NBC on the A's radio network and on A's Cast.
Last time I checked, buddy, you have the Peacock in front of you too sometimes.
I will admit, but today you're not Peacock. Today you're not Peacock. You are you're a company man, Chris. By the way, how was dinner with, I know you got to see your mom, your brother. How was it yesterday at your great-grandfather's restaurant where I have been, and it's phenomenal?
It was great. It was great to have that experience with everybody and Johnny. And, my family's actually on the field right now. They just got here. So let's keep it straight here. It was fun. And to be able to have everybody here, I wish you guys could have come along. It's just a great way to show my appreciation to this group that has been so kind to me since my feet touched the ground in Mesa, Arizona in 2024. So I can't imagine that we're not going to do this again. We're going to probably do it again every single year from now on, as long as I'm here, however long that is. So it was a great time.
Well, you think about your great-grandfather's legacy in that city. It's just, and White Sox, Cubs, especially Cubs, it's just so special. And for you to go back there, actually named after him, I think it's got to be a little emotion. What's it like for you?
Yeah, I got a little choked up. I think just seeing everybody there, seeing my brother there, I hadn't seen him in a while, in a few months, and seeing my mom there. And I said it in the little speech that I gave, that I tried to keep it shorter, is to do this independently of my father being there, and not kind of not being it's his son, hey, whatever. This is my group. These are my people. To be able to kind of look around the table and see people that I've really grown to love and care for is an incredibly humbling experience, and something that I'll never forget. I'll never forget that night, and I won't forget the nights that we get to celebrate in Chicago from here on out. This city is amazing. It's treated our family so well, and we owe almost everything to this city. So to be able to celebrate it with Johnny and Dallas and Rennie and Delaire and of course some of the other staffers as well was just a very small token of my gratitude, and I'm going to continue to repay it for as long as I can.
Yeah, and your dad also with the Cubs back in the day too. So really special. That's really cool. And just to let everybody know, because everybody now just sees you as a TV guy. You've done minor league play-by-play on the radio. You've also done quite a bit of radio. So for A's Cast and the A's Radio Network, you're just not a pretty face on TV.
Well, the appearances can be deceptive, Towny, and it's subjective. Art is subjective, but making my major league radio debut for a regular season game in Chicago, Illinois, with a team that my great-grandfather had his fingerprints all over is something incredibly special. And to get to do it with Johnny.
Well, you're right. You're right, Towny. We're both not pretty faces on TV. You're right. That's a really good.
I always said when they took Johnny off television, just put on radio, what a mistake that was.
Oh, what a horrible mistake.
Horrible.
You can write letters.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I saw the emails that Delaire got about Johnny being off TV from town.
It was painful.
Look at us.
I fought for it. I'm like, you're taking Bob Costas off the broadcast.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing.
Keep that face off TV. Get him on radio. Keep that face off. Believe me, I know. It's all good.
They got too many viewers. We had to temper it down a bit. Okay.
Well, I'm looking forward to listening to you guys. It's going to be phenomenal. Chris, I'm really happy for you and the whole family thing. It's really, we got to share. The thing about this business, it is an absolute grind. We miss so much family time. You miss stuff with the kids. You miss stuff with the family. To have your mom, your brother there, and everything that's going on with the family and the history, cherish these moments because you're never going to forget them.
I will, Towny. Means the world coming from you guys. You guys are the best at what you do, quite literally. And to be able to do this with all of you guys. I wish I could pay for a dinner, but that'll have to wait for SAC when we come back next week.
Well, you are right. We are the best at what we do. There's the one thing he's for sure gotten right.
You got
today.
something right today.
You got something right today, my friend.
Just go Diamondbacks trivia today, please. I don't need to embarrass myself any longer.
All right. Who hit the game winner off Mariano Rivera in the World Series Game 7?
Oh, Luis Gonzalez.
There we go. He's back on track.
There you go.
Corbin Carroll.
Johnny Juan Soso. Yeah. You have to get it in the broadcast. This is not guaranteed anymore. It's just a rate.
Just a rate.
Just a rate.
Yeah.
Have a good call.
All right, thanks, bro. See you.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun.
Real quick.
Hot Take Tuesday, baby.
Real quick before we go, what are we setting you over under on Southside references?
Ken Korach's not there.
Well, so Johnny and Caray.
No, it won't be.
Fine, we'll save it for when the Southsiders come to West Sac.
We got Ken Korach has to be there for this game to work.
We'll save it for when they come here next weekend. Come to West Sac next weekend.
Yeah, they have to. We have the White Sox next week.
Yeah, next weekend. Yeah, Rangers, White Sox next weekend for the homestand in West Sac.
After this is Milwaukee.
Correct. Yes.
Wow.
We got to go.
I've lost control of this show.
We'll play Ron Darling tomorrow. We're gonna have JT
What,
Ginn.
we're off the air already?
Yeah, it's 3:30 almost. JT Ginn tomorrow to start the show. Nick Kurtz tomorrow at 2:30.
What time's the game?
Pregame starts at 4.
What are we doing for the next half hour?
Johnny and Caray are in the booth. Remember, we do that now.
Oh, that's right. The game's at 4:40. I'm back on TV, radio.
Correct. Yeah.
At 4. Oh, I gotcha. Ron Darling. No, we got to play Ron Darling.
Darling tomorrow. JT Ginn start the show at 2:00.
JT Ginn, love the kid.
And then Nick Kurtz at 2:30 tomorrow.
Oh,
from Vegas.
If you don't want to hear Nick Kurtz, as Shooty said, he's banging on that door. Cannot wait. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to A's Cast Live. We'll see you tomorrow at 2:00. Up next, it's Chris Caray will be driving the bus for the pregame show with the great Johnny Doskow.
When it comes to knocking it out of the park, nobody beats Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is a 7-time Triple Crown Award winner, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, for being the best in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Step up to the plate for our biggest selection of new Ford models, including the legendary F-150, on sale now. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters in the Folsom Auto Mall, FolsomLakeFord.com.
That ball is out of here.
This has been a presentation of